session on the budget deliberations phase in your service. And what we have managed to do is get through about 1/3 of the departmental portion of the fiscal budget proposal, the opening session, or opening portion, if you would, effectively the block monies. We've gotten that part 1/3 through. As a rule, when we go through the budget process, you'll see some addendums or insertions or amendments as we go. Sometimes it'll be one item or a few items here and there, dribs and drabs. It can happen early on, it can happen continuously, it can happen late in the process. In this instance, it's happened in the 3rd session. We did discuss the possibility of this happening in the 2nd session, and it was tabled. And one of those items for health and file therapy did make it into an amendment. However, there are several items for the Department for the Customs and potentially for journey travel and transport. So it was agreed to by consensus. I've had to actually write up, and I had to get it before the Imperial Council. They had to check and verify that what was added was what was agreed to by consensus and nothing more. It's almost 100 pages. It's almost 100 pages of a fiscal budget proposal, so it's going to take time. So much so, I'm not sure that the whole process will be completed before I convoke the Imperial Council for a 4th session on the budget deliberations. And what that means is that there's additional items to be added in that next session. Then instead of getting the fiscal budget proposal amendments all public within 7 to 8 Earth days, may take 14 to 16 Earth days. So I cannot promise that what's being modified, amended if you would, will be public next strong. It may take a couple of strongs to get it all done. That said, do bear in mind that in this process of deliberations, when it's all said and done, hopefully within a month or maybe a little more than a month, we may have the deliberations phase complete. And then I'll work with the Imperial Council to set a date to commence the first round of budget negotiations. And just because something has been added into the fiscal budget proposal does not mean it's going to make it into an actual fiscal budget proposal vote. Some things get added all the time. Some things get modified, some things get adjusted, some things get taken out, certain things is 50-50. So it can go a lot of different ways. All I can tell you is things are being added into the fiscal budget proposal at this point that may or may not be voted on when it's coming time for me to poll the Imperial Council and determine if there's enough for us to have enough Imperial Council members ready to vote on a budget proposal to make it into a law or not. And if things go that particular way, well then, if we have enough votes in the affirmative, I would have gotten you a fiscal budget law for you and the rest of our fellow Amexem-Moor-Empire nationals. If it doesn't go that way, then the Imperial Council will have to get back to work and keep plugging away until we actually get to a point where there can be a vote on something that they can agree on. Sufficient for there to be enough votes for it to pass and become the next fiscal budget law. And we'll see how it plays. I would imagine that so far, because things are going fairly smooth, that we should be able to get this done hopefully within the next 2 months, give or take.